Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome to episode 43, as always. I'm your host, Alden K. For today's episode, we're going to start off with a lot of Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. They recently lost a 3-game series to the New York Mets, and they are currently taking on the LA Dodgers in Chase Field for a 4-game series. We'll talk about the opener that they won last night, and we'll talk a little bit about today's game as well, as today's game is currently going on right now. It is Eduardo Rodriguez versus Roki Sasaki, and it is currently 3-1 Diamondbacks in the first inning. We'll talk about that game as it keeps going. We'll talk about the offensive struggles and Torey Lovullo disappointments as well. And of course, regarding the Phoenix Suns, we'll talk about the Brian Gregory press conference. A lot of people, a lot of Suns fans, including myself, weren't really moved about his introductory press conference, and it just seems like this Phoenix Suns team is not really going to be heading in the right direction in the future, so we'll talk about that. And of course, we'll talk about Arizona college baseball and softball with ASU, U of A, and GCU. ASU softball recently upsetted the 23rd ranked Oklahoma State. Very surprised that they won that game. And they will move on to the semifinals. Of course, we'll talk about U of A and GCU as well, as their games recently will occur. And when we hear a quick word from our sponsors, we'll come right back, get started with the Diamondbacks and their recent outings. So don't go anywhere. Once our sponsors are done, we'll be right back to talk some D-backs baseball. You listen to the AZ Sports Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. We'll be back in a minute.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. Once again, a big shout out to our sponsors, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet, and of course, Vital Apparel. Make sure to use the code IESR to get 15% off of all the merchandise. Take advantage of every discount that you can get your hands on. And of course, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. You can follow them on Instagram and order at the website. And of course, shout out to IE Sports Radio. Happy to be back here on another Friday evening. And of course, you guys can follow me on X with both of the accounts that I run with the IE Sports Radio account at AZ Sports Zone IE. And then at the AZTRL, my personal account where I'm not as active, but I do try to get on there every now and then. If you want to hear a lot of tweets and a lot of thoughts from me, then at AZ Sports Zone IE is where you'll most likely find me. Giving thoughts about the game and this and that, and just giving my overall thoughts about what's going on with Arizona sports teams. So make sure to follow both of those accounts, but mainly AZ Sports Zone IE is where I'm active. And before we get into the first topic, Brian is tuning in, our Beantown Sports Pound host. How are you doing, Brian? Good evening to you too, sir. With that being said, let's get right on into it. So not a lot of crazy drama or anything going on in Arizona Sportsville right now, but the Diamondbacks, we got to talk about them a little bit. So they recently lost a series to the New York Mets. So some of their recent games, it was a little bit of a kind of a rough way to really end the season against the Mets. They beat them in Queens the previous week, so they took on the Mets literally over the past week. They played them in two series, one at Citi Field, one in Chase Field, and this one was a 3-game series, and they took the first and the third game. It was a close game the first time. It was just who was the better offense, and Francisco Lindor did a Francisco Lindor kind of thing, and he put the Mets on top in that game. If it wasn't for what he did, they D-backs probably would have won that game. Ryan Nelson didn't really play his worst game. He didn't play his best either. It was his first start. It was his first start of the season, obviously, with Corbin Burns sitting out in his next start with the shoulder injury. So unfortunately, we weren't able to see Burns in this game. But Ryan Nelson, he didn't do that bad. But obviously, he went 4 innings and a third of a fifth. He gave up 2 runs. He gave up 4 walks. So that was the downside of it. That's why he couldn't play any longer because of his pitch count. And he gave up 3 hits. So, but what really screwed the D-backs up in that game was the bullpen, which I feel like we've been seeing that a lot lately. The bullpen has been a bend but not break kind of bullpen in certain games ever since Justin Martinez and AJ Puck went on the injured list. We won't be seeing Justin Martinez and AJ Puck for a long time. So obviously, without our 2 best bullpen pitchers, Torey Lovello doesn't really have a lot of reliable options to throw into the game. We've been seeing Castillo a lot lately, Juan Murillo, Ryan Thompson, who was actually the one who gave up the game against the Mets the first game when they lost 5-4. And then we saw Tommy Henry pitch the rest of the way. He pitched 3 innings to be exact. So, overall, Corbin Carroll did his thing in that first game. He had a home run. Ketel Marte, he had a hit and a walk. So, the offense, while they have failed in previous games to get runners in from scoring position, they have had a lot of base runners lately, but they just continue to struggle with getting those runners home, which is kind of similar to last season. If you guys saw the Diamondbacks last season, offensively, they were a mess to start off the season. But in the second game, a lot better, way better on all cylinders. The D-backs ended up winning this game 5-1. And Zach Gallen pitched 7 innings, only gave up a run. I don't know what it is with Zach Gallen playing so good against New York teams and nobody else. If you guys were to look up Zach Gallen's ERA against the Yankees and the Mets this season, I believe it's under 1. But when you look at his ERA against pretty much everybody else, it's about the ERA that you would see on his 2025 resume this season, which is a little bit above 4. And definitely not having an ace-worthy caliber season. But whenever Gallen plays New York teams, at least in the 2025 season, we have seen Zach Gallen show up and show out. So we give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess. The offense, they did what they needed to do. Gurriel hit a home run in this game as well. So it kind of slowly, but not as much. But slowly, we are kind of seeing the offense get it going, like picking it back up a little bit. We're kind of seeing them get their mojo going again, which is really good to see because lately the offense has been kind of struggling, which I will get to in a little bit. And then in the last game against the Mets, it was pretty bad. It from start to finish, well, pretty much from the 6th inning to the end of the game, it was pretty bad. It was scoreless through the first 5 innings, and then 6th inning, that's when the Mets started scoring runs after runs after runs. Juan Soto had 2 home runs in that game. So I feel like I see this all the time with the Diamondbacks. If you have a guy who is struggling at the plate, he's a superstar caliber player, and if he is going through a slump, just face off against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they'll pick up right back where they left off. Because I haven't been watching the Mets a lot closely this season other than the series against the Diamondbacks, but what I kept on hearing was Juan Soto was not having his best start with the Mets. There was one game at Citi Field where he had 2 home runs. D-backs still won that game, surprisingly. And then there was another game, which was the other day, where Juan Soto hit 2 home runs in Chase Field. So Juan Soto had about 5 home runs total against the D-backs this season. So, Soto killed the Diamondbacks in the 6 games that we played them this season. And at least against the Diamondbacks, Soto was living up to every penny that the Mets are currently paying him right now. And Senga went 6 scoreless innings. So you can't really complain about that. When the offense is dead, even if the Mets had scored like 3 runs in that game, when your offense is dead, even if your pitching is good, you're not going to win games. You have to find a way to get the runners home from second and third, which has been something that the D-backs have struggled drastically at to start off this season. Now they still are above 500, so that is a lot better than what we saw literally last season. They were below 500 by 6 games at one point, but so far in this season, they at least find a way to stay above 500. They're 20-18 at this point. They're currently playing right now, which I'll talk about that game today here in a little bit. But last night they started a series against, yes, our biggest rival in the West, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers traveled over to Chase Field for a 4-game series with the Diamondbacks, and the game last night was pretty good. To be honest, coming into this series, I thought it was going to be lucky if the D-backs were to get 1 win in this series, but they did get 1 win in the first game, so we'll see how they do the rest of the series. But as far as the opener last night, a very good game by Brandon Pfaadt. He pitched 6 and a third to 7 innings, and scoreless innings, by the way. Gave up only 4 hits and 3 walks, had 6 strikeouts. So Brandon Pfaadt did literally what you could have asked him to do. I think Pfaadt, without a doubt, has been the best pitcher for the Diamondbacks so far to start off this season. It's funny, we went from Zach Gallen and Corbin Burns, and you can make a case that Brandon Pfaadt. A little bit earlier, I would say Eduardo Rodriguez, but lately he has kind of fallen down a bit lately. But Brandon Pfaadt, without a doubt, has definitely been the D-backs' best pitcher so far this season. He's one of the top leaders in wins, and he got another one the other night. And for the Dodgers, they had Yamamoto pitching, who came into this game with an ERA of 0.92. So after kind of a struggle from Yamamoto, he came into the MLB last season from Japan. He didn't have he was injured a majority of the year. His ERA wasn't the best, not the worst either, but not really good as well. But yeah, he was injured for a majority of the year. He comes back for his second season. He has a really good start to the season. ERA under 1. That's really hard to do at any point in the Major League Baseball. And he got crushed by the D-backs offense. And if you guys follow IE Sports Radio, I did say on a short that I really did think that with how much the D-backs offense was struggling in recent games, I did think they were going to lose to Yamamoto last night. I'll be the first one to admit it, but they got it done. Let's see. So Ketel Marte had a home run. He had his first homer of the year. So actually 2 D-backs hit their first homer of the year last night. Moreno hit a grand slam. So finally, he just continues to hit home runs against the Dodgers in Chase Field for whatever reason, but better late than never, I guess. Gabriel Moreno has his first home run of the year, and it was a grand slam at that too, so a little bit of an add-on there. And Marte, who was injured for a majority to begin the season, came back and hits his first homer of the year against the Dodgers at Chase Field as well. So we also saw guys like Corbin Carroll did not have a single hit in this game either. So at the same time, it's going to know that Corbin doesn't have to go this and that just to win games. The D-backs have so many other reliable players on their team that can be able to hit home runs and score runs as well. So with that being said, but we saw Beeks in this game as well. 0.2 scoreless. Murillo gave up 2 runs, and it kind of looked like the Dodgers could have made a case to come back. But that very clutch double play, it took them a while to review it, actually. But yeah, there was a long review for whether he was out or not, but he was out, and the double play was occurred. And Murillo was saved. And then Kevin Ginkel came in, gave up a run to the gambling golden boy who hit a home run in the top of the 9th inning. Yes, that's what I'm going to call Ohtani on this show, by the way, the gambling golden boy, because that's exactly what he is. But Ginkel gave up the home run to Ohtani, and then he was still able to close it though. Obviously, with Justin Martinez and AJ Puck out, I am still very worried about this bullpen. It feels like every year the D-backs, they try to invest in the bullpen and they just cannot figure out a solution to it. I don't exactly know if that's Torrey's fault, Brian Kaplan's fault, or anything like that. Heck, even when they had even when, like, despite the other pitching coaches that they've had, the bullpen has struggled these past few years. But then again, obviously the bullpen can't be perfect in every game, but I feel like it just continues to get worse to a certain point in the season. We've seen it a lot. They've allowed teams to literally come back and make it a very competitive game. And I kind of don't want to talk about today's game anymore because it's very bad now. But other than that, it was a good first game of this series. And I'm glad we got one at least. Hopefully we can at least get two. At least splitting with the Dodgers, I'll gladly take it. But with that being said, a really good first game against Yamamoto too. I did not think that they were going to win this game with the type of start to the season that he was having. So big props to the D-backs in the first game. But tonight, not going so good. Yeah. So the game tonight started off pretty good. Well, it didn't start off good. The Dodgers scored a run in the top of the first. I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez is disappointing yet again, and it sucks. But Gino hit a home run in the bottom of the first after Marte hit a home run in the first to tie the game. Suarez hit one way past the pool to give him a 3-1 lead. And then the Dodgers came back in the second and third inning, scoring 2 runs in each inning so far. And the third inning is still going. The top of the third is still going on right now. And the Dodgers currently lead 5-3. So it's still very early in the game. It's 5-3. It's the top of the third. This game's not even close to being done yet. Still plenty of opportunities, but with a struggling D-backs offense, that is not something that you want to see. But Eduardo Rodriguez, for the amount of D-backs fans that bash Zach Gallen and Corbin Burns, I'm surprised that Erod does not get the same treatment. Because Erod has not had a good season this season so far. He has not had a good start to this year. He has not had a good start whatsoever. There were a few games where he has shown up and shown out, and there are some games where I do feel bad for him because I feel like the games that he does pitch his best, the offense does not show up, which has got to be the worst feeling as a pitcher, for you to play lights out and your offense doesn't give you run support. But yeah, so far, and I know it's the Dodgers and this and that, but Eduardo Rodriguez cannot even get it out right now. As I'm looking at this game on my phone right now, it's the top of the third. Guys on first and second with 0 outs, and the Dodgers have already scored 2 runs in this third inning. So that's at least 4 batters that Erod has faced. He has not retired one of them in the top of the third yet. So Erod continues to disappoint. Tomorrow, I am not 100% certain if we have Corbin Burns yet. I think so. He did come out and say that he wanted to aim a return for Saturday. I do not think as of right now that is confirmed. And if it is, I have not seen a report from Torrey or anything like that yet about it. But assuming we get Corbin Burns back tomorrow, let's hope that they can bounce back because so far today it is really not looking good right now. And it's looking like we will lose this game. Erod is really not having a good game at all right now, at all. So I feel like Eduardo Rodriguez is just tough luck against the Dodgers. But then again, there's a lot of pitchers who can't beat them, I feel like Erod gets the worst treatment of it, though. Like, ever since he was in Boston. I mean, one of his iconic clips is him throwing a tantrum, giving up a home run in the World Series against the Dodgers. So I feel like Erod just has bad luck against the Dodgers. Then again, Merrill Kelly does too, other than the playoff game. Brandon Pfaadt does too, aside from yesterday. Zach Gallen, of course. Yeah. But I digress. Still early in the season. Still early. We're only 40 games in. We still have over 120 to go. This Diamondbacks team, if they're the same team that they were last season, they're going to get hotter after the All-Star break when it actually matters. But it's still disappointing because there are so many games that this D-backs team should have won earlier in the season, but Torey Lovullo is always going to Torey Lovullo. That's my famous saying on here on AZ Sports Zone. Torey is always going to Torey. He is. So I'm going to make this short and sweet before we go into our first break. Torey Lovullo, when are the excuses going to stop? You can't afford to throw games away. You cannot afford to lose games in situations that you are supposed to win. You can't afford that ever right now. The reason I say ever is because you play in the toughest division in baseball. I mean, Dodgers, we all knew they were going to be the Dodgers. We all knew it. They're the regular season Dodgers. We all knew they were going to do their thing. If it wasn't for spending billions of dollars, they still wouldn't have a real ring since the 80s. So the Dodgers are going to be the Dodgers, like always. The Padres, I thought they were going to take a slight decrease, but they're still doing their thing. I actually respect what the Padres are doing this season. They have a really good manager who actually knows what he's doing, at least. The Giants, that's the team that surprises me the most. I knew they were going to get better after firing Farhan. But I didn't think that it would start this season. I thought they'd have maybe 1 or 2 more years of being a mid-team before they were contenders again. But the Giants are having a good year, at least compared to what I thought they were going to be. The D-backs, despite being above 500, despite looking like a really good team, they're 4th. So, Torey, you can't afford to throw games away at this point in the season, or any point in the season. I get that it is a long season. You're not going to win every game, so I understand that. There's no possible way you can really go on a win streak and it's a guaranteed win. No, this is baseball. Baseball is one of the weirdest sports in ever when it comes to momentum and then going on in a slump or whatever. So I get that. But there's so many games that this team should have won earlier in the year where they didn't because Torey throws in the wrong bullpen pitcher. He leaves a starting pitcher in the game for too long, and he takes him out when the game is already out of reach. So when is Torey going to actually start getting punished? Well, not punished, but start getting his actions used against him for what he is doing? Him and Mike Hazen are best buddies. So for any D-backs fan that thinks Torey is getting fired, scratch that thought off your list because that is never going to happen. And the only way it happens is if Ken Kendrick fires both of them. The only way that happens, or Derek Hall, whatever. But as long as Mike Hazen is here, Torey Lovullo is going to be here, whether D-backs fans like it or not. It just is what it is. They've been best buddies since Boston. They won a World Series together in Boston. Get used to it. That's how it's going to be. Torey is not going anywhere. I figured Torey would at least learn from his mistakes, but he hasn't. At least I don't think he has. Since the World Series, he really should have looked at the differences he could have done. But he's making the same mistakes that he made 2 years ago. So we'll see. But still early in the season. So we'll definitely see what happens. But anyway, we're going to go into our first break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into the Phoenix Suns for a short period of time, we'll talk about the Brian Gregory press conference and how terrible it was. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're listening to the AZ Sports Zone here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the '08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies.
And your one-timers.
You wicked wristas.
And be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
And welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Alden K, as always. If you guys are just now tuning in, I just covered the Diamondbacks, and last time I checked, the score of today's game is now 8 Dodgers and 3 Diamondbacks, and we're only in the third inning, so the Dodgers might score 20 on us today. I'm sure Torrey is going to leave Erod in the game until they score 10 runs, maybe even 15, because that's what Torrey does. So, yeah, that game is over. D-backs, Corbin Burns, you better get it together tomorrow. Please and thank you. So now let's get into an even worse team in the – well, do I even need to say it? I mean, come on now. So, obviously, I talked about last week how the Suns introduced Brian Gregory as the new general manager, and James Jones basically got demoted. And I kind of do feel bad for the guy about it, because I don't think that James Jones was the guy to blame for the Phoenix Suns and how horrendous they are at this point. So Brian Gregory was introduced as the Phoenix Suns general manager. And a lot of Suns fans did not really like how it went. Now, what do I mean by that? They didn't like the responses that he gave. Brian Gregory basically gave signs to where the only reason he is the general manager is because of his relationship with Matt Ishbia, which is somewhat true. The two have ties together when they were in Michigan State. They're basically best buds. And that is why he got the general manager job. Not because he actually has a good resume. I don't even think he's ever been a general manager before. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. At least in the NBA. I don't think he has ever been a general manager before. So for this guy to come to get a promotion as the new general manager, for him to come to the introductory press conference and publicly admit to everybody that he is sitting where he is today because of Matt Ishbia. He basically said that he is not qualified. That's basically what he said in a nutshell. And honestly, I don't want to bash him too much because he hasn't made a single move yet as the general manager. So maybe we just have to give him time. I mean, we kind of have no choice but to give him time at this point. Uh, we kind of have no choice but to wait because I don't think the Suns will be a contender again until they at least trade Kevin Durant, maybe get some draft picks or whatever. But yeah, I do not think they will be a contender for a while. And it's crazy. Not too long ago, they were literally 2 wins away from winning their first championship. And 4 years later, they're at the bottom of the barrel. So I did not like what I heard from this Brian Gregory press conference. It literally, I could have taken a nap while watching it. Um, he just didn't give me any signs, and I think I speak for like 90% of Suns fans when I say this. He did not show any signs to me as a Suns fan that he has what it takes to build this team back into a relevant stage, or at least a competitive stage. There were some comments he made about KD and Beal, and the comments he made about them, it kind of makes me wonder, are KD and Beal actually getting traded? Are are they going to stay on the Phoenix Suns for the 25-26 season? Because those were the vibes that Brian Gregory kind of gave me. He said he spoke to both of them, has a good relationship with both of them. So he spoke to both of them. Okay, we got that out of the way, if he is telling the truth. And he has a good relationship with them. Obviously, you want to with all your players. But it is a business. So maybe I'm overthinking this a little bit. But that really concerns me. Because if they keep KD and Beal, like if they trade one of them, I mean, at least that's a step in the right direction. But if they keep both of them, how are we going to improve next season? You don't have a head coach right now. And the head coach that it sounds like the Suns are going to hire is going to be a guy who has never been a head coach before. It sounds like it's going to be a guy that is just inexperienced overall. So you have to deal with that. You have to deal with trading KD or Beal if you even are going to trade them, because trading KD won't be hard. That won't be hard. Trading Beal, they may have to keep Beal. And I hate to say it because Gambo did come out and say that Bradley Beal will not be on the team next season, but it's really going to be hard to trade Bradley Beal to a team that wants him. I don't think there's a single NBA team out there that wants Bradley Beal right now. So, excuse me. Very tired today, working a long day. But yeah, like I said, from what I saw in this introductory press conference, it did not give me any hope whatsoever. I'm just going to say that this general manager hire, I think it was dumb. and I'll just be straightforward. I'm going to give the guy a chance. Us Suns fans, we have no choice but to give the guy a chance. But from what I've heard in this press conference, from the way he talks, from what he says about KD and Beal, that gives me no confidence whatsoever about what direction this team is heading in, if it's a positive direction. Because right now, this team cannot get any worse right now. They can't get any worse. Well, they could, but I don't see them getting any worse than the season they had last year. So I still don't understand why James Jones got the boot. It really wasn't his fault. I don't think it was his fault. Some Suns fans might think it was, but me personally, no. I really don't think it was. So, we'll see what the Phoenix Suns do here in the future. It really, at the end of the day, it really just depends on Matt Ishbia, Brian Gregory, whoever the heck is running this team and making the moves that they make at this point. Just hope they get at least they do at least the right thing by trading away KD and Beal, restarting. And I hate saying that because Devin Booker is on the cusp of his 30s and he's going through another rebuild with like his 9th head coach. So it's like, if anything, Booker's the only guy I really feel bad for at this rate. But just overall, very forgetful season in Phoenix, and this Brian Gregory press conference did not give me any sign of hope. So I'll end with that, with the Phoenix Suns. We're going to go into our second final break. And when we come back, we're going to get into the college baseball and softball here in Arizona. Softball, I can't wait to get to, especially because my Sun Devils upset at Oklahoma State. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll talk the collegiate of baseball and softball. Once again, you're listening to the AZ Sports Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Cleveland and Columbus sports fans, I've got the show for you. I'm Jen B, host of the Show of the Land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. You want football? I've got the Browns, the Buckeyes, the Eagles, the Purple Raiders, and more for you. You want basketball? I've got the Cavs and the Charge for you. You want hockey? I've got the Blue Jackets and the Monsters for you. You want football, aka soccer? I've got the Crew and the Crunch for you. You want volleyball? I'm going to unleash the fury for you. You want more Cleveland and Columbus sports? I've got them all for you, from the majors to the minors to the college rinks. Catch me, Jen B, every week on the Show of the Land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport.
What's up, guys? If you're looking for the best coverage of all Northern California sports, including 49ers, Giants, Warriors, then check out the NorCal Sports Report with yours truly, Andre Fernandez, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We have guests every single week talking 49ers, Giants, Warriors, Sharks, San Jose Earthquakes, and a whole lot more, plus 3C2A. You do not want to miss this show. So tune in Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Time to the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
and welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And if you guys are just now tuning in, just covered up the Phoenix Suns and how horrendous of an introductory press conference it was from Brian Gregory, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and we will see if he can somehow turn the Phoenix Suns franchise around. And as I currently check the Diamondbacks game right now, it is the top of the fourth, and it is still 8-3 Dodgers. So yeah, D-backs just go home and go to sleep and get Corbin Burns on the mound tomorrow and beat LA. Okay, this game was terrible. Eduardo Rodriguez sucks. Once again, guys, a quick reminder: you guys can follow me on X right here at AZ Sports Zone IE and at the AZTRL. Again, if you want the latest from me, it's better to follow at AZ Sports Zone IE. That's where I'm a lot more active compared to my personal account. So make sure to follow both if you'd like. With that being said, let's get into the collegiate for Arizona college baseball and softball. So for ASU, we'll start off with my Sun Devils. So they are coming off of a 3-game series against Baylor. Actually, the last time I went live, they lost the first game to Baylor, and then they had a 5-day break. And now today, currently, they're taking on Houston. They're starting a 3-game series there. And they took 2 out of 3 against Baylor, though. They lost the first game, won the last 2 games. But before that, they were on the 5-game win streak. So they have won 7 of their last 8. So we'll give them that benefit of the doubt. Currently 32-17 record-wise so far this season, and facing another Big 12 team in the Houston Cougars for a 3-game series before we get to the Big 12 tournament, which is May 20th. So I believe that is on a Tuesday. So we may even talk about the Big 12 tournament on the Bullpen Bulletin. If you guys don't know that show, I'm also on there as well. Make sure to tune in every Tuesday evening where Ricky, Mike, and I will talk about baseball, and we will definitely be covering the baseball tournaments. So I might, and because the Big 12 tournaments start on that day, definitely going to get into that. It's from May 20th to May 24th, so really depending on who ASU plays and what the schedule is like, will determine if they play that day or not. But so far, taking on Houston right now in a 3-game series, and then they play one more game against GCU, and then they end the season for a 3-game series against Oklahoma State. So they finish off against the Big 12. So that's how it should be. But so far, ASU baseball won 7 of their last 8, so they're gaining some momentum before the tournaments, which is something that we all like to see. Regarding softball, though, if I can pull up right here. Okay. So, yeah. So they did, so ASU softball coming into the tournament, in the Big 12 softball championship, they upsetted Oklahoma State, who was ranked 23rd. So I got to give the Lady Devils props for that. Definitely, it was a low scoring game. It was 2-1. So a pitching duel at its finest, really just depended on who blinked first, and Oklahoma State did. Very surprised that so the softball Devils were able to pull that off. But in the championship game today, it was very bad. Very, very, very bad. They lost 18-0 to Texas Tech in the softball championship semifinals. Very bad game. So, yeah, I knew Texas Tech was going to win this game. I really did. 18-0 is not the score I would have predicted. I knew that Texas Tech had good bats. I knew their pitching was serviceable enough. But they dominated ASU. Absolutely beat the living crap out of them. It just a very bad game. Very, very bad game. I don't even know what to say. I mean, they just kicked the crap out of ASU. That's That's all there really is to say about that. But shout out to them for upsetting Oklahoma State, though. That one was cool. That was cool to see the other day. So, yeah, very bad. So now let's travel over to Tucson a little bit and talk about the U of A Wildcats. So for baseball, 33-15 at this point. That's the record right now. And they're coming off winning a series against TCU. They won the first 2 games, lost the last game in a shootout. They lost 13-6, and they lost on Tuesday to GCU. I don't know what it is with GCU beating ASU and U of A so much this season. I really don't know. But yeah, GCU beat U of A again, 5-2 this time, and now they are currently facing Utah for a 3-game series. So they're in Tucson for this series as well, and then they travel over to Houston to take on the Cougars for a 3-game series to end their season, and then on May 21st to May 24th, that is the Big 12 baseball championship. So, and U of A is definitely going to show up in that championship, in that tournament. I really do think U of A can make some noise in that tournament. I'm not really so sure about ASU though, but this is about U of A, so I'll stick with them. But a really good season so far, and we'll definitely see how they do in the Big 12 tournament, which is not that far away from us. I believe it is 3 days away to be exact. So once again on the Bullpen Bulletin, make sure to tune in on that. We will talk about that. Ricky, Mike, and I will talk about the tournaments next time we go live. So make sure to check that out. But regarding softball for U of A, they have a record of 45-10. So they keep dominating in that. And the Big 12 softball championship started for them on Thursday, yesterday. And excuse me. It was actually a closer game than I thought. But they did beat UCF 4-3. So they were 7th seed and they beat UCF in the first game. A really good pitching duel, and the offense showed up enough, as much as they needed them to, and they advanced to the next softball tournament championship game against the 3rd seed of Iowa State. They played them today, and U of A beat them 6-3. So U of A is moving on to take on the number 1 seed Texas Tech tomorrow at 9 a.m. So Wildcat fans, I know we have our differences. I am the ASU guy. I know we have our differences, but really good season so far. I got to give it to U of A. I don't want to, but I got to give them credit for it. For them to limit the UCF and Iowa State, who have really good batters, for them to limit them to 3 runs, not score the highest amount of runs. Like, their offense wasn't, it obviously it did enough to win, and they did. And now they're taking on the 1st seeded Texas Tech, who just crushed ASU 18-0 today. So it would have been nice to see ASU and U of A going up against each other in softball, but unfortunately, Texas Tech was just the better team, and that is where I think it is going to stay. I think that U of A is going to lose this game to Texas Tech, but they have had the pitching and they have had the capability to pull off an upset against anybody. So not ruling them out quite yet, but I do have Texas Tech winning the Big 12 championship for softball. So leave it at that, though. I do really like the season that U of A is having for softball. Very respectable, very good season. And we'll see how they do tomorrow morning against Texas Tech, 1st seeded team. So it's going to take everything you got. So we'll see how it goes. So last but certainly not least, we'll talk some GCU real quick for the remainder of the 4 minutes that we have left on this episode today. So for baseball, 28-20, that's GCU's record right now. They beat U of A, like I said earlier, on Tuesday. And they are currently playing Stanford right now, and they're starting a 3-game series against Stanford. And then they play ASU on Tuesday. And then they end their season against Tarleton State in a 3-game series in the WAC tournament. Then for them, the tournament starts same day for U of A and ASU as well, obviously. Excuse me, I'm like losing my voice right now. But for softball, you got to give them some credit so far for softball. A 45-6 record. So like what I'm seeing. And then obviously in the tournament, they did what they needed to do. They won. In the quarterfinals, the quarterfinals, they beat Seattle University 5-3. And then in the semifinals, they beat Tarleton State, who was the 2 seed, 5-0. Pitching was spot on. The offense did what they needed to do. Everything about that game for the Lopes were amazing. So that is where it has been at. We will find out GCU's opponent a little bit more for the next one, probably tomorrow. But they did win today, earlier this afternoon against Tarleton State 5-0, and they will move on. So Lady Lopes did their thing for that. So anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it up for episode 43. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 43 of the AZ Sports Zone here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Appreciate everybody who stopped by and listened to me talk Arizona sports. And before I head out, as always, guys, make sure to follow both of the X accounts that I run, starting off with at AZ Sports Zone IE, where I retweet, give my thoughts a lot on a bunch of Arizona sports news. And of course, follow my personal account at the AZTRL as well, where I'm not as active, but occasionally I will talk trash about my rival teams because that is what my birthright is as an Arizona sports fan. So next episode, we'll definitely see if more Suns news comes about. We'll see if the Cardinals, wasn't able to talk about them today, but we'll see if anything comes out. The schedule is actually coming out, I believe, 6 days from now. So maybe next episode, we'll go through the Cardinal schedule a little bit and see what we got going. And of course, with the Diamondbacks, we'll continue to give the latest updates regarding the D-backs and their recent games. And we'll see if they can finish the series strong against the Dodgers. And they are going to need it because they're playing the Giants after the Dodgers, which I will be talking about both of those series next Friday when I go live. So stay tuned for that. But of course, once again, shout out to our sponsors as well, guys. And shout out to all of you guys who were able to tune in today. Shout out to iSports Radio. It was great to be back here on another Friday evening talking Arizona sports. That being said, guys, have a great weekend. Stay safe. See you guys next Friday, and we are out.